In this video, I will be explaining the functions of the RCL handheld controller. The handheld controller has been the main method of controlling RCL luminaires for over 20 years. From this little device, it is possible to select individual luminaires, control their dimming level, their pan and tilt angles, and now even their color temperature and beam angles. This is the second generation of handheld controller and is a very clever piece of technology, fully designed and engineered in-house in the UK. First, let's get to know it. At the top of the front of the controller, there is an OLED multifunction display. There are 12 buttons on the front of the remote and 2 buttons located on its sides. These are laser selection, pan left, pan right, tilt up, tilt down. Below these and to the left are the 3 dimmer buttons, increase intensity, decrease intensity, and lamp on and off. In the center of the remote is an OK button, and to its right are the function and back buttons. On either side of the remote are global buttons. On the top of the remote there is an infrared transmitter and a modulated laser. These are used to select the desired luminaire and control individual luminaires or send out commands to multiple luminaires simultaneously. It is powered by 3 AAA batteries, which are not usually included. Basic functions. To select a light, press and hold the red laser selection button. This will emit a laser from the front of the controller, which can be aimed at a sensor flashing amber on the bottom of a luminaire. Once the sensor has picked up the laser's signal, it will stop flashing amber and turn solid red. Once this has happened, you can release the laser button on the controller. To move a spotlight, you can use one of the 4 movement buttons, pan left, pan right, tilt up, or tilt down. In each case, you can either press and hold the button to move the spotlight, or you can press it quickly to move the spotlight in small step increments. Once you are happy with its position, you can adjust the intensity of the lamp. The 3 buttons on the lower left control intensity. Press the plus button to increase the intensity, the minus button to decrease it, or the power button in the bottom left to cycle between 0 and 100% intensity level. It is possible to send a spotlight to its home position, which is in the middle of its pan and pointing straight down by pressing either the function up or function down to enter the function menu, and keep pressing until home position is displayed on the screen. If the spotlight is already selected, press the OK button whilst pointing the remote at the spotlight to send it to its home position. Once you are happy with the spotlight's aiming position and intensity level, you can aim the remote roughly in the spotlight's direction and press the laser button again. This will deselect the light fitting. Alternatively, you can wait for 60 seconds for the light fitting to deselect itself. If you are fortunate enough to have a spotlight with zooming or color tuning functions, you can control these by first selecting the light as previously explained, and then pressing either the function up button or function down button to enter the menu screen. Here you can cycle through different menu options such as home position, scenes, beam width, and color temperature. To change the color temperature of a fitting with this function, first select the light using the method explained previously. Press the function button until color temperature is displayed, press OK to enter the submenu, and then whilst pointing the remote at the spotlight, press the function up or function down buttons to change from a warmer color temperature to a cooler one, or vice versa. Again, once you're happy with the color temperature, you can press the laser button again, roughly in the spotlight's direction, to deselect it and store that. To change the beam width of a fitting with this function, first select the light using the method explained above. Press the function buttons again until beam width is displayed. Press the OK button to enter the submenu, and then press the function up or function down buttons again whilst pointing the remote at the spotlight to modify the beam angle wider or narrower. Like before, if you're happy with the beam angle, you can press the laser button again, roughly in the spotlight's direction, to deselect it. Now let's look at scene functions. All remote-controlled lighting spotlights have the ability to record and recall aimed positions and dimming levels in what we call scenes. To record an individual luminaire's position as a scene, first aim and dim the luminaire to your desired position, then, with the light still selected, using the function buttons, scroll until Record Scene is displayed. Pressing the OK button again will bring up a list of scene numbers which you can cycle through using the same function buttons. Once your desired scene number is displayed, point the remote at the spotlight, which has already been selected, and press the OK button to tell it to record its current settings. If the spotlight has not previously homed itself, or if power to the spotlight was cycled recently, the spotlight may need to go through a homing sequence in which it finds its limits. Similarly, if you wish to recall a previously recorded scene, select the spotlight with the laser button, use the function buttons to display Recall Scene, and then pick the scene number to be recalled. Whilst pointing the remote at the selected luminaire, pressing the OK button will send the spotlight to that scene. Again, if the spotlight hasn't been homed recently, or it has had its power cycled, it may need to go through its homing sequence. It is worth remembering here that the scene information is stored in the spotlight's memory, and the remote is merely telling the light to go to that specific position. Now let's discuss global commands. Controlling an individual spotlight is incredibly useful, but the handheld remote also has the capability of broadcasting an infrared message to multiple spotlights at the same time to send similar attributes to them. These can be dimming levels, home position, color temperature, beam width, and scene functions. This can be very useful in a ballroom environment when wanting to send all of the spotlights in a space to a previously recorded scene quickly or to the same dimming level. To do this, you will not need to have any spotlight selected. The trick here is to have the desired function you want all of the luminaires to receive to be displayed on the screen. In this first example, we will send all of the spotlights to 50%. Using the dimmer plus or minus buttons, I will display 50% on the screen. Then, using fingers from my other hand, I will press in and hold the two global buttons located on the outside of the remote. You will notice that Global Mode is also displayed at the top of the screen. With these two global buttons held in, I can now walk around the space pointing my remote at the spotlights whilst repeatedly pressing the OK button to transmit the global commands to the spotlights. Once all of the spotlights I want to act on have dimmed to 50%, I can release the global buttons. The same can be done for any attribute. In this next example, I will send all of the spotlights in a space to their scene 2. Use the function and OK buttons to display Recall Scene 2 on the screen. Again, using fingers from my other hand, press and hold the global buttons on the side of the remote. With these two global buttons held in, I can now walk around the space pointing my remote at the spotlights whilst repeatedly pressing the OK button to transmit the global scene command to the spotlights. Things to know. Although the infrared transmitter of the remote is powerful, we would only recommend using it up to ceiling heights of 12 meters or 40 feet. Beyond this distance, you may find control possible, but it becomes reliant on having an operator with a very steady hand. Even if your control methodology does not use the handheld remote for movement, for example in DMX or RCL control systems, at least one handheld controller is always required to either set up the addresses or pair luminaires, and we would always recommend 2 for redundancy. A quick note on DALI. If you want the spotlights to also move to recorded pan and tilt positions when a DALI go to scene command is sent, you may need to enable this via the controller.